Hi. Okay. It took me a while to actually decide whether or not I wanted to make this video or not. But I just think that it has to be done. Okay, it has to be done. Coming from a sci-fi fan who has been following the story for the past 8 years of my life, I just felt that it has to be done. Okay, people, let's talk about the white elephant in the room, which is Game of Thrones Season 8. Or the disaster that we call Game of Thrones Season 8. Okay, I'm just appalled. I know some of you have not even heard about Game of Thrones and you don't even care about Game of Thrones, and it's okay, I don't blame you. It's not for everybody. Not everybody likes to watch all this kind of fantasy sci-fi thing, but to those who do, it means so much to us. It means a lot to us, and I represent that community. I don't know whether I represent you or not, but this is just my thoughts about what actually happened and what, you know, and how I feel about it. And I just felt that, you know, as usual, I'm using this video as a platform for me to rant, and I'm gonna rant. So it's up to you whether you want to watch it or not, but just let me know if you feel the same way. All right. Okay, so recap the whole of the whole series of Game of Thrones. We watch these characters grow up from babies. Okay, they're literally babies when they started, and especially Arya, you know, they started off as kids. We watched them grow up. We watched how, you know, they were being manipulated, they were, you know, killed. Some of them were, you know, disowned, and they had to be married off to evil people and things like that. So I'm sorry, I'm talking about the Stark family. So and we watch how a girl that was kind of like sold into marriage become queen. That's Daenerys. So anyway, we watched this whole drama unfold from the beginning until now, and we watch how each of the characters grew, and I was just left watching season 8 thinking, all of these characters, they built them up like to this huge thing, and then suddenly you just felt let down in some ways. Just felt so disappointed with how all the characters ended up. I don't know, I just felt like okay, I don't even know where to start. Okay, let's start with my favorite character, Arya. Okay, Arya has always been, you know, the one that stood out from the rest. She carved out her own path. She spent 2 seasons becoming an assassin, learning how to, you know, be an assassin, learning how to kill, learning how to change faces, she basically learned how to go, you know, to the undead world and come back. And she learned all this kind of cool stuff, you know, that built her to become this like super powerful character of this, like, kind of like a spy assassin with superpowers. And, you know, we didn't actually get to see how that played out. Okay, it was awesome, you know. She get to, okay, spoilers, she get to kill the Night King, but we don't actually get to see the actual process of her getting there. All right, so we don't actually see, and then it was just done in like a split second and then gone. So I just felt like, okay, that happened. That was like the highlight of season 8. That was it. Okay. I was so disappointed, you know. She couldn't even like show off all of these cool things that she learned, and you know. But anyway, so that's Arya. And the Night King. The Night King. Okay, he is a villain, alright? But however, it's like one Night King, and then there's like two of the, you know, commanders and things like that. They had such presence, you know, they had this such commanding presence of fear that they built up. The whole season, the whole show built up from season 1. Winter is coming, winter is coming, winter is coming. They are the winter that's coming. But I just couldn't, there wasn't any backstory where, you know, we had all these theories of who they are, where they came from, all their superpowers, and how he could, you know, get on a dragon means that he might be a Targaryen and things like that. So we have all of this fan theories, but we didn't get to watch that unfold in the actual series. So we were just left like, okay, the Night King is here, he did some bunch of stuff, and now he's dead, and his whole army is dead. Thanks. Not the time. So it's like, huh? That's it? I'm like, okay, you're dead, but okay. So your whole army is dead now, so okay, fine. Still rather disappointing. And the third one, the Red Witch. Oh my god. The Red Witch, she is like, she was like this super cool villain in the beginning, like, you know, like Catwoman. You know, you don't know where she stands. Is she the good guy, or is she the villain, or is she whatever? So she came in, and she had her own prophecy of the Baratheons and all that stuff. And I'm like, okay, is she gonna help them, or she's not gonna help them, and things or whatever. So she did this super cool stuff to help them, and then she died. I know, you know, I'm like, you don't need to kill her. She helped the whole thing. Like, she's like, okay, she came full circle, I guess, you know, she fulfilled whatever her destiny is. But then you didn't have to kill her. She could have, she resurrected Jon Snow, for God's sakes. She is such an integral character. She, I don't know what to say. Whatever. So next, Bran. Okay, Bran the Broken. First thing first. Okay, Bran the Broken has evolved, you know, throughout the season, from being Bran into this whole other being of the third-eyed raven. Okay, the third-eyed raven supposedly held all this superpowers even beyond the world and beyond how the children of the world were created and all that. So he is like this wise old being, and he's no longer Bran, and he has all kind of these superpowers or whatever. And we still didn't even get to see how that could have played out. I was so looking forward for Bran to actually warg into something substantial, something worthwhile, like warg into the dragon, or warg into you know, the Night King, or warg into something, you know. Like Arya and Bran have these super cool powers that they could change into anything, and he could, like, Bran could warg into anything. But we didn't even get to see that played out. Okay, my video is getting so long, but you know, all this dissatisfaction about and how Dany in the end, and how Cersei and Jaime, and it was just like cringe. Season 8 was like cringe the whole time. Okay, although I did want to point out one thing. They did, show how all of this thing happened, and how, in the end, it drove Dany to become the Mad Queen, because a Targaryen has a tendency to either, be okay or be mad. You flip a coin. That's what they said. And she just, lost it. She just lost it when she lost all kinds of everything, and then she lost even Jon, and I understand where they're coming from, but she just went berserk, and there was one point. At one point, Missandei was captured, and then her last words were Dracarys, which means, burn everything. And I think that was the point where Dany actually really lost it, and she kind of like, got the message from Missandei saying that, just burn everything to the ground, these are not our people, or whatever. And she just lost it, and she had that, and then she knew, everybody was everyone was a traitor, including Jon and stuff like that. So she felt like maybe she had nothing to lose, and just like burn everything. But I didn't expect it to come from Jon. So overall, I didn't like the ending at all. I felt like it was a huge letdown, and I read somewhere that it wasn't even the ending that George wanted, because he hasn't actually, correct me if I'm wrong, he hasn't actually written the whole book. So these are just the writers, basically their own take on how it should end. So you to those who have not watched Game of Thrones, it's a lot to take in. The whole series is 8 seasons long. So if you do intend to start watching it, just told you all the spoilers, so I don't know whether you want to watch it now. But if you don't mind spoilers and you want to go ahead and watch it anyway, so you just can go ahead and watch it. It's a lot to take in, but it gives you some kind of backstory and insight of why a lot of people are so disappointed. So hence, that is my closure for Game of Thrones. Goodbye. It has been a hell of a ride of these past 8 years, and I don't know what else to say. There's just this void that's left. So hopefully, I don't know whether I'm gonna commit to watch any other show after this, but here's to hoping. So bye. Hope you enjoyed my rant.